Right, restream working. Which is working.
Twitch is working. What about me?
Everything's working.
How can we say that now?
Did anyone have the Suffolk Ram?
Skazz, I was drinking coffee.
I do. Well, we've been talking for the last like 10 minutes. You could have had all that time to drink your coffee.
It's gone now. All over my shirt and up my nose.
Yeah, in the beard.
Yeah, I'm saving it for later now with the dribbly snot. It's all good.
That's an awesome beard you've got going on there.
Yeah, it's just, I've got some, Yeah. Well, that's because I ain't got anything on top. So I've got to grow it somewhere.
Are you planning to sort of grow all the way really long, then perhaps bring it over behind your neck
And then bring it back
head?
up and so I can part it.
Yeah.
Well, that has been a plan. If not, then if I were to go full hermit, then I've said it a million times before, I have to grow it long enough to weave it into my pubes so I can strum it like a harp. So when people find me up on the mountain, I'm playing that mystical instrument, but it isn't an instrument, it's just my face.
When when you're gonna be the rise hermit that people are gonna come to, you're gonna give them cheat codes.
Yeah, pretty much. And then when someone's like, how do you know? And it's like, well, because I'm strumming my beard. I'll be like, I can feel it in my nuggets.
Yeah. Oh, wise Skazz one, please tell me, how do I defeat this boss?
It's like, mate, get good.
So wise! He's so wise! I see now. The problem isn't me just saying, the problem is within myself. I need to solve myself. You're such a wise man, old Skazzers.
You're welcome, my child. Good job. So Ram,
Let's go.
it's been a bit of a fluff for me gaming recent. I mean a proper fluff for me gaming recently. I need to find a game and settle on it. But it hasn't happened. So what have you been playing, mate?
Well, a couple of things. I've been playing because I've been busy building, painting and decorating and flooring.
You've been painting and decorating your flooring.
Flooring.
Doing them all.
Everything. Painting, decorating, flooring, electrics, all sorts.
That's a recipe for disaster right there. It's a good thing I'm not in charge of that one. DIY, destroy it yourself.
I see, electrics I'm all right with. I can handle the electrics. Also, them allowed to do anyway. I'm happy doing that because if you wire it wrong, it doesn't work. You know straight away. Whereas plumbing,
that sucks.
Plumbing,
that could be a 3-year and then everything goes wrong.
Plumbing is you do it wrong. It looks like it's okay. 6 months later, why is all my units watered away? Because it's been leaking for 6 months. That's why I dislike plumbing.
Yep.
But electrics, I mean, no one's ever had. You don't have electrical flood, do you?
Well,
no one ever says, "Oh no, I've got electrons dripping through the ceiling." That doesn't happen.
I've got an lecky leak.
Oh no. It's this. I've lost all my electrical pressure.
So where's it gone?
Yeah. You never have this issue of electric. Ones say, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, I've been an insurance job. The electrons have very slowly destroyed this cabinet." Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That's called a fire. That's not very slow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just not the same. It's just not. Despite the fact on paper it's more dangerous, I much prefer the electrical work than I do for plumbing.
Yeah, well, it's an instant, isn't it? Like if you fuck it up, you get a shock. You find out quickly. You fuck up the plumbing, you're like, yep, done that, no problem. Walks off, and all of a sudden you fall through the ceiling because the pipes aren't done right.
Yeah. No, I'm ultra paranoid when it comes to electrics. I first of all, if I'm doing a light thing, I make sure the light power is turned to the lights, turn off at the switch, then turn off at the trip switch. Then right before I touch anything, I get my multimeter in there.
Just to be sure,
check it, and then I get a second multimeter and put that in there to make sure the first one is working.
Mate.
And only then will I actually touch anything.
See, are you crazy enough to use like one of those cheapy multimeters on big boy voltages, or?
I have a cheapy one. I have a very expensive one.
Good.
So
I hope you don't.
I have the cheapy one, which is what I use on the farm because I only ever deal with low voltage on the farm.
Yeah.
or I'm testing batteries, for electric fencing. So I have a cheapy one for that. Then I have a nice one that I bought a couple of years ago, about 200 quid.
Oh yeah, like a fluke or something. Yeah.
Not a fluke. It's a Ambros, but I did a lot of research to find out is this actually a good machine, and people, it's a fluke was a bit too much for me.
Sure.
But these were like they're sort of ones they say to you, if you're an apprentice electrician, buy this.
Yeah, sure.
It's decent, but it's not a fluke, but it's decent. But then, from what I understand, is it's fluke are more rugged than anything else.
Yeah.
So this is as good as in terms of what it can do, but it just can't quite take the beating that a fluke can.
Sure. It's just my groove is that like I see sometimes people like probing around high voltage with one of those cheapy multimeters. I'm like, I would not do that.
No.
I'm crazy, not stupid.
Yeah. No. I check everything with a proper multimeter, and I've got the attachment also. So, but yeah, I'm ultra paranoid, and then every part of the wiring, I'm very paranoid when it comes to electrics. But then you have to be because,
it doesn't take a lot to put you down with electricity.
Yeah, we have proper voltages in our house. Not there's like 110 volts that the Yanks use.
Yeah,
we've got proper voltages.
But in fairness, they do have 220 in, don't
they?
They break it off into.
They split into two what they call legs. So they have like almost like two phases in a weird way, and so so they do have 220-volt appliances like cookers and stuff be 220 volts.
Yeah, but
most appliances are 110.
And they don't ring out like we do either, do they?
No, they don't. They usually have an individual circuit like each thing. If you ever see one of their circuit boards, they're trip switch panels, breaker boards. Yeah. They're huge. They're absolutely massive. They have
we have this little like rinky-dink couple of switches in the corner of the house. Like, where is it, mate? Oh, I buried it under the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's just that little box up there does everything. They are. I mean, I sort of get the philosophy of that. It just seems very wasteful to me. But I sort of get the philosophy of it because one thing won't take everything else out.
Yeah.
But then how rare it happens. But then the flip side is the reason we tend to do it like that is they don't have fuses in their plugs.
Yeah, fair.
So that makes it that's all like their redundancies at the board, whereas ours is built into the plugs.
We should also note that the reason the Americans can have a massive breaker, I mean massive, is because they actually have the fucking space for it. You put an American breaker in here, it'd take up one of my windows.
Yeah, break panel. Yeah, their panels are massive. They're absolutely huge. And the opposite way round to us, ours are horizontal. Theirs are vertical.
Yeah, you're right.
So they're differences. But they can combine. But it just seems weird to me to have two different setup of power. Again, one just use 240-volt across the board. It's more efficient and it's not. As long as you're sensible, it's like everything in life. As long as you're sensible, it's not that dangerous.
As long as you're sensible. Remember where we are and at what time we live, Ran.
But there's lots of things in life. There's also things in life. I mean, in life, I think in my life as a day-to-day, there are far more dangerous things I do daily than far more risky things I do than possibly getting electrocuted from a panel.
Cross the road.
Drive a car.
Yeah, drive a car.
Drive a car across a road.
Eat a Mickey's. Well,
I often go for a doner kebab somewhere, and
that's your Dyson right there, son.
Yeah. You're never quite sure. What type of meat is in this?
Yeah, but does it really matter?
Is it lamb?
Does it matter?
Pork? Is it human? You're never quite sure.
I'm not really bothered as long as it tastes good.
Yeah.
So what's that line out of Demolition Man? It's like, oh yeah, what's this burger made out of? I was like, well, do you see any cows down here? And the woman's like, rat. And it's like, rat. Well, it's the best damn rat burger I've ever tasted.
Yeah, I like Demolition Man.
So that's a great film. Love that film.
That is a really good film. Back in the days when films were happy to be silly.
Yeah. Can't be silly now. Someone might get offended. Can't have fun.
I watched last night Death Race 2000.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
It's on Amazon. That is very much of the 1970s. It's just like really cheesy science fiction. It is really cheesy sci-fi, but it's just silly across the board.
Yeah.
It's got Sylvester Stallone. I didn't know he was in that.
Surprise.
It's the only actor I recognise in the whole thing, but it just takes all the 1970 film tropes. It's amazing. It's such a B movie, but it's surprising. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. It's surprisingly.
Do you remember once upon a time when an hour and 20 was the standard length for a film?
I thought it was an hour and a half was sort of standard length.
Yeah, but it's not like, hey, Lord of the Rings, 3-hour films. Like, yeah, let's not do that anymore.
You'd be surprised actually if you actually look back at history how many long films there were actually in the past.
Yeah, put them in the bin. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. Yeah. Working as a projectionist, that'd do my nut in.
Yeah, but back then when they had to sit there and watch every single film, nowadays they have like one projection like 30 theatres or something.
It's like a memory stick, drive gets plugged in, the security token gets plugged in. Go on. Off to the next screen you go.
Yeah. Well, what they often do now is if they're showing multiple films, they'll often split between multiple screens.
Yeah.
So literally just stream between multiple screens.
I don't know, that I can remember because I worked at a cinema for a while. That blew my mind when they were telling me how they'd gone digital. I was like, I don't know why it blew my mind, but I was like, the cinema was always kind of the pure experience, wasn't it? But
yeah.
Then they say, oh yeah, we just get a hard drive shipped in now with a security token. So
yeah.
So what the fuck do you do then?
What resolution do they come at? Do you know?
I have no idea off the top of my Swede. No idea.
Yeah, it's also they're different aspect ratio. Well, they're multiples. You have like IMAX and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
But I wonder what actual digital film resolution they come in. That's it. Oh, let's see if I can find out.
Ram's is on the adventure already. We're no more than 12 minutes in, and Ram's like, we better find out what that is. Well, no, because I'm sure things they're recorded in more than just there'd be. Well, you're looking at it, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've not clicked in the first thing, but apparently most audio movie theatres run in 2K.
Yes, well, it's 1080p, isn't it?
2048 by 1080s, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some 4K cinemas out there.
Yeah.
But when was that? Let me just find out one day. No, that was from 2017. That question was asked, which is probably when digital was still.
Well, that sounds about right. Because, like I say, when I was working in the cinema, like they said that they'd not long swapped out to the old drives and security tokens. And I was like, it just seems weird to me. It's still shit gets delivered in a can on reel, and you still have to focus it and all that. What do you guys get paid for?
Do you ever see like those IMAX reels they used to have? The reel was like stretched across like it's something like stretched across like a massive room, so it's like sort of 10 foot long.
I will throw out there. I've never seen an IMAX kind of projection setup or behind the scenes setup. I've never actually gone to an IMAX theater.
Nor have I.
Really?
I've never been to one.
Oh, really?
That's mainly because I'm cheapskate, but well, primarily it's because I'm a cheapskate.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like for me, and I love films, I love music, and all that kind of stuff. But I keep saying because some of my friends have invested a lot of money into like home cinema setups, really expensive TVs, really expensive home audio setups. For me, I'm happy just checking out a film on an old CRT or like if I'm on my laptop. Like I don't need a super high quality experience. Just can I see what's going on? Can I hear the soundtrack? I don't care. I just want to watch the fucking film.
I'm sort of with you on that one. I think it depends on the film. There you go, Skazz. Have some IMAX pictures. Okay. I think it depends on the film. I think older films, fine on old TVs because the cinemas weren't that weren't necessarily that great. So they sort of thought that'd be good enough. It's like older TV. Old TV, I think, looks worse on modern HD TVs.
Oh yeah, sure. I will say I can't fucking stand it when you see like whatever interlaced slapped onto modern TV, and I'm like, oh my god, you didn't even de-interlace it. Like, fucking really? And you see all the fucking lines coming across. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, it just... And we have this habit as well of really horribly upscaling things. Like, can we stop doing that, please?
Yeah.
Like, just don't. It's like back in the day when things used to be filmed wide and we'd crop in to get them to fit on 4:3. And it's like, what part of the film you were actually going to
scan?
What part were you actually going to fucking see? It's like, oh my god, no.
You're lucky if the person who was doing that actually cared.
Yeah.
Most likely, they just like centered it on the screen and assumed that the bit in the middle of the screen was going to be the most important bit, and they just didn't worry.
So, cinema back in the day.
Guys, I have got some amazing news.
Oh.
We have finally got to the stage.
Yeah.
Finally got to the stage in our streaming careers where we're being offered to use bots to increase our followers.
Fucking hell.
We've actually got there. I've got somebody trying to sell us bots to increase our followers. And, you know, artificial, and because obviously, as we know, bots are just the same as real people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are they're offering it to us now. So
I have to deal with NPCs on a near daily basis.
So I'm going to block that message.
Good job.
That person from ever talking to me again.
Good man.
I don't know how to do that on Twitch, but I will figure it out.
It's just weird, actually. I don't get that many bots on Twitch, but YouTube I get stacks. Oh my god, he's like proper into this. It's like, Ram, are you that starved for stream interaction? We're like,
no, I'm just reporting to Twitch. It's fun.
Good man, good man. It does my nutting. Absolutely does my nutting.
And blocks.
Good job.
Bye. Anyway, so.
No, like I say, for me, because I still watch stuff at 480p. To be completely honest with you, I don't care if I can see it, hear it. I'm fine. I'm still a bit kind of like, I probably wouldn't watch things on a phone. I would at a push. But I like, just give me a movie archive on my laptop and I'm fine.
Yeah, I've got no issue watching older stuff, because I think at the end of the day, it all comes if the story's good, it doesn't need to be shot well. If the story's good, if it's engaging, then it could be filmed on it could be a series of pet portraits for all I care.
Yeah,
you know, if it's engaging, it's engaging. It doesn't have to be ultra 4K filmed in 100,000 FPS. Doesn't have to be.
I will say actually, so because we're quite old, right? And there are a lot of people out there who these days who have only really grown up with like the DSLR generation, YouTube and onwards. You know, so going from like 1080p with DSLRs, shallow depth of field everywhere. Because for some reason that is quality. A shallow depth of field, and then we got up to like 4K, and like there are some people who have only ever experienced that. It's funny when you go back and look at how some things were shot, and you're like, wow. If you were to kind of tick boxes for modern day Sarcastic Echo's quality, most of this stuff may as well have been shot on a handycam, and then you realize how overproduced things on YouTube are. Like stuff like YouTube and that. It's like, it's all brutally overlit, brutally overcolor graded. Just everything is horribly overproduced. I was like, you put more effort into a 15-minute YouTube video now than people used to in Hollywood blockbusters and Hollywood films.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
But that's partly down to the fact that it's easier.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's everywhere
easier
now.
to do all that, yeah.
It's fucking everywhere. I love the fact that we all have access to these tools now. Absolutely amazing. But by the same token, I'm like, we're focusing on all the wrong bits. Like I said, shallow depth of field now is a marker of quality. So, but if you watch most films throughout history, like shallow depth of field was very rarely a thing. But now it's so overused because we have no idea. Oh yeah, we've got to shoot it in 24p and shoot at 1.4 or 1.8 and blah blah blah. No, just no.
Is that more a case of different mediums have always evolved their own different identity? Because like TV was only sort of like in recent years that TV production has moved towards film style.
Yeah, sure.
Because films have always had a slightly blurry look to them. When you actually compare a lot of films to TV, sometimes TV was dead sharp but looks like crap because it's so sharp. You see, whereas the films often have a slightly sort of like almost haze to them.
Well, because because TV was more run and gun, wasn't it? In that you didn't get 2 years to shoot an hour and a half worth of content.
Yeah.
Or a year to shoot an hour and a half worth of content. You had a couple of days or whatever to you'd have like a couple of months and you'd have to shoot an entire season.
Yeah. And traditionally, film was a different frame rate as well.
Yeah, different frame rate, different resolutions. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to have like big cranes and all that kind of stuff to lug around that film gear.
Yeah.
You'd probably have like 3 or 4 people operating a camera.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just like TV creates its own identity and has sort of moved towards films of late years, and when basically people try to emulate films for TV production, so was it YouTubers and stuff have developed their own identity and so forth, which is different from other people, and you can see when you see it, it's funny. You can see as soon as you see a video, that's from YouTube. You know it from its identity. It's almost like brand. It's weird where it's like branding. Like if you're on the road and a car comes behind you, you can tell what model brand car it is if you can't see the badge because it's the style of it and so forth. So it's just basically developed their own identity, and the reasons it's not because it was also an unconscious identity create. No one sat down and said this is how we're going to create our identity. It's as you say, it was a group of people gradually herded themselves towards this. This is the I want to say the YouTube standard, as it were.
Everyone found out that the 5D Mark II and the 60D were fantastic DSLR cameras for video, and that you could buy a Canon Nifty 50 for $100, 50mm 1.8, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the Sigma 18 to 35 1.8 came out, fucking everyone was shooting the same way. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Everything looked exactly the fucking same.
Yeah. And it's an interesting bit of it'll be an interesting bit of media history in the future. What causes because if throughout history, why are things done a certain way or produced a certain way, and you look at this because of some, and it's just like, oh well, a certain company made something that was very cheap, so everybody just used that, and that led everybody down this path. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those little things. We're actually seeing like sort of a natural standard being developed in our own in history happening as it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about it as such because when I was a kid and I started filming, I wish I had access to even half of the gear that I have access to now. Right, even half of it. An interchangeable lens system camera for video. Oh. I would have killed for that when I was a kid, back when I was in like high school and college. Instead, it was like get your DV camera and screw on a fisheye lens to it, like a fisheye adapted to it into the filter thread. But it's just how horribly overproduced things are. Like any of that actually matters. Like I actually give a shit that you're shooting a PC gaming headset at 4 or 8K. I don't know. There's more production equipment in a YouTube video than there is in a Hollywood.
Yeah, but people are taking pride in their own work and they want to put the extra effort in. not hurting anyone. I can see it's also well, you don't need to, but if they're happy to spend the time and effort doing it, and it's a bit of pride to do it that way. It's a bit like when these people make like an artist makes something, they put little details in that you unless you really look hard, you'll never see.
Oh yeah, but then that's the same with everything, though, isn't it? It's the same with music.
Yeah.
You don't notice a lot of those subtle details until you actually understand how it worked to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a bit like when you see like a film. Like, if you freeze frame this certain frame of this film, you'll see actually they've written all the details out there, and so like one frame. Well, someone spent the time, and effort to do that for that's going to be used in one frame. That's sort of like private. It's fair enough. It's all right. It's not hurting anybody.
Overproduced bollocks. It's fed an entirely new market. It created entirely new markets. I mean, think about it. DSLR cameras. People didn't buy DSLR cameras back in the day. They were happy with point and shoots. Point and shoots and smartphone video. And now everyone's got a DSLR. Everyone's got a field recorder and a shotgun mic or wireless microphones or, Canon and Nikon back in the day and Panasonic. They literally gushed in their Wii Shorts when YouTube became a thing and people were like, yeah, this thing does video.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel personally attacked right now with my shotgun mic and my
no, but I mean, I have it too. I mean, I'm thinking about, I'm saying all this right now, and yet I'm sat in front of, I mean, this is a cheap mic compared to what I'd normally have. I've got a box full of microphones that are worth like 300 quid, and yet I'm sat here with a microphone that's worth like 80, 100. I've got a camera behind me, or look over in the corner. That's like fucking, a grand's worth of kit. For what?
Yeah.
This is stupid. What would I need a grand's worth of camera for?
Is it worth it? You aren't using your really expensive camera as a webcam?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I have done. It's like, so I was talking to a guy a while ago. He said, oh yeah, my entire rig is worth $4,000 on the camera. So I was like, fucking $4,000 for a live stream. He's like, yeah. I was like, fuck off, mate. Christ. But then when you look at some live broadcasts, yeah, you can do it cheap, but fuck, man, some people invest. They go all in. I've got a $2,500 camera sat in on the coffee table in my living room. Why? I don't know.
I also think it's a case of there's a mentality of if something's expensive, it must be good.
Yeah. Or that you need that to make you good.
Yeah. And yes, very good point. And first of all, that's not true. You can get plenty of things that are that are cheaper than the top end spec brand stuff, but do the job just as well because they ain't got the name or you're not paying for badge.
Yeah.
In some cases, you can get stuff made by the same company, exactly the same, with a different logo on it for a lot cheaper.
Yep.
Because people will pay a premium for badge.
Yep.
And there's numerous examples out there of this sort of thing going on.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. And as you say, there is a attitude of which has got some hints of truth in it, very little hints of truth in it. That, as you say, as you said, if you buy better gear, it will make you better. There are certain things like if you have a decent mic, you're going to get better audio compared to a shit mic.
Not true. Depends on delivery platform. Completely depends on delivery platform. If you are delivering to YouTube or Twitch, or I would even go as far as to say, in some cases, Spotify, stop wasting your money on thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds worth of equipment because the quality ceiling is fucking low.
No, but...
Right? If all of a sudden you're going to do a studio recording, though, I would say invest in the better gear because you will actually have... The delivery method will be sufficient to render that quality. To actually show that quality.
There's a difference between there's no difference between not necessarily a super expensive microphone, like £100 microphone, and a £10 headset.
Oh yeah, sure, but then
that's all I'm getting at.
No, but you can go out there and buy a £30 microphone that, let's be fair, would sound just as good as the microphone you're sat in front of, which is, you've got a good 200 quid setup there, at least, right?
Yeah, about that.
You can top that these days with a 30 quid USB mic, right? Because of the delivery method, you hit that ceiling a lot earlier, so you'd never even know if someone was sat there with thousands of pounds worth of equipment. You just wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this order is probably as good as my old Blue Nessie mic. Well, I've still got my Blue Nessie mic, which is USB. That was 100 quid back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, this is probably as good as.
Yeah.
The only difference is this is a bit more versatile.
I think the thing that people need to understand is that. So I'll just put it two ways really. One, if we were to look into musical instruments, right? Jimi Hendrix. If you gave Jimi Hendrix a starter guitar, right? So let's say, for example, you're a beginner and you go out and you spend £1,000 on a high-end Strat or whatever, right? You could play that and it'll sound shit. You've got great gear, but you just don't have the skills to get the sound out of it. You could give Jimi Hendrix a skilled guitarist a shit guitar and he'll make it sing, right? You have to be good enough to get the quality out of the instruments or the equipment. Sometimes, if you buy the higher end equipment, if you haven't got the skill to use it, you're just going to look worse because it will emphasize all of your mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that. I mean, I keep saying to people, there are times when I still can't get the best out of like a Canon 60D. 1080p, soft as fuck, alias and moire out of the yazoo, but sometimes you just can't get it. So what the fuck am I doing sat there with a camera that can shoot 6 and 8K? Because it's after you've done all your grades and you've delivered it, most people don't even give a shit. Some of the biggest people in the business were happy to still shoot it at 1080p. And people didn't notice. They've done ABs. People can't tell the difference. So learn your craft before you start investing in shit tons of gear.
Yeah, and also I think what tends to happen with more fancier gear is you tend to get more. So the facial guitars, there's a lot of badge pricing in guitar.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, yeah. There's a lot of myth in guitar as well.
Yes, and what you probably find if you're a cheap guitar and a more expensive car, I would imagine, is probably the fact that if the tuner may be probably more likely to go out of tune sooner.
Yeah.
More likely to perhaps not so far. Perhaps you could find the tuning more. Perhaps there's some extra things that you know to find the tuning more. Maybe I'm guessing here, but it's interesting actually. They did a study. And they did a double-blind study. They got violinists, and they got violinists to play a Stradivarius, and also got the same violinist to play a 150 quid Chinese violin.
Yeah.
And they blindfolded the violinists so they couldn't see them. They also gave them nose plugs so they couldn't smell it.
Yeah.
Because you'd be able to possibly smell the wood. They're trying to eliminate all the stuff.
Like treatments and stuff like that. It's like we listen with our eyes.
Yes, and also your nose. Your sense of smell is your strongest in terms of memories and so forth. It's your strongest guide. And they then recorded them playing bits of music, and then played them to people everybody from sort of lay people to experts, and said to them, "Okay, which one of these was a 150 quid Chinese violin, which one of these was a Stradivarius?" And some were like, that's definitely the Stradivarius. But overall, no one could tell the difference. No one could tell the difference. And even the ones who said, and the amount of times people said that's definitely Stradivarius, you pick the cheap Chinese one.
Yeah. Because
there's a certain quality that's come about. There's a certain quality and build quality has been reached. And that's when they were being made, Stradivarius probably were premium because they probably built better than anybody else. But now modern technology caught up.
Oh god, yeah.
And we can just punch out Stradivarius.
I've been saying that for years. Like I was talking to Zabemol a while ago, and a lot of my friends, and I was like, look, do you remember back in the day when if you wanted to get a solid ass guitar, like, and we're still talking kind of beginner level, where you're not going to get like cut by rough frets and stuff like that, you'd still be talking a good few £100, three to £500, and that's still your kind of beginner area. But now you can go to Music House Tolman, and for about 60 to 70 quid, get a fucking fantastic guitar.
Yeah.
Because we can build so much better, so much cheaper.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the old myths of guitar go straight in the bin. Or you realise that a lot of the old myths of guitar were complete bollocks to start with.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, I need to have a Strat with this made out of this kind of wood to get this kind of sound. And then you actually dissect the setup that the guitarist was using. It's like, oh, that's a parts caster. That's 3 separate guitars. So even if I'd have bought that year of guitar, I wouldn't have had those parts anyway.
Yeah. I think it's also a case of, I do think there's something about, there is something that adds to an experience when you know something is, it's been like a classic car.
Yeah.
Classic, in all ways, classic cars are in every sort of metric you can use, as in like scientific metric. Classic cars aren't as good as modern cars.
Yeah, they're
not as reliable. They're not as reliable. They're not as fuel efficient. They're slower.
They're often built like crap too.
They're not as comfortable. They're not as they're
but there's
bad
an
across the
experience
board.
to it.
There's an experience to it. I mean, I would love classic Range Rover, like a old school classic Range Rover.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near as good as a modern one, but I would like it because I like the style. I like the thing. There's something. It's part of the experience, and you can't. And the experience adds an X factor to the situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so at the same time, going
with guitars and that.
Exactly. Going to or violins.
Yeah.
Going to a concert and the lead player is playing on a Stradivarius. If you know it makes really no difference to sound, it adds to the experience.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore that factor in things, but don't fool yourself into thinking, and don't be snobby about saying, "Well, it's clearly so much more superior to something." Like, don't fool yourself.
I know people who have spent thousands on guitars, right? And they've had like flaws in the guitar. Like they'll shit over a cheap brand guitar. Go, must be built like shit. It's like, hang on, but haven't you just spent thousands on that guitar? And I don't know, the bridge is fucked, so you can't intonate it properly. Like, so, well, there you go. Just because it's expensive doesn't necessarily mean it's it's flawless. But we do live in a world where you can get fantastic quality out of cheap. And when people are like, but I need this to do good, it's like, but they didn't have, like, you know, the guys who filmed all the stuff that you've been eyeballing and wanking yourself raw over for the last decade, they didn't have those cameras. No. They didn't have that technology. You know,
we've come full circle back to what you said about the cameras. That buy a posh camera, buy a posh guitar won't make you Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, there's a new thing going about now where people are comparing like Gen 1 cameras to Gen 5 cameras. They're like, is there really a difference, or is it just that the new camera does more things for you? Like, if you light something properly, can the first gen produce the same kind of image? And do you know what the answer is? Or as near as matters. I was like, oh, so are we just chasing? We're basically we're chasing it. We're chasing the dragon right now. Like,
which the one thing is, like you say, the new cameras do so much for you. Well, for a long time, people would snob at that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you've got a camera that sets itself up automatically?
It's like all these people testing autofocus. I remember, like, no more than 6 years ago, people were like, using autofocus on a camera. Ugh, this isn't a still, this is video. Put that in the bin. But now autofocus is like one of the key things people look for.
Yeah.
But you know,
people are funny. People like because the trouble was, for a long time, your average. It's probably, I think it's a generational thing. For a long time, cheap cameras, which didn't have really much in the way of settings on them and so forth, and they were just point and shoots, did produce inferior stuff to a nicer camera that had the ability to change all the settings and so forth, and you could change your ISOs and you could change your apertures. When you had all that on a camera, you could produce more. However, as technology's caught up, it's as bit back to our car example again. It's got to the stage now, actually, it can do as good a job and it's not. People have that. People when they have their sort of experience of the shit versus the new, they have their memory, and that memory sticks with them. So if someone compares a cheap camera to an expensive camera and goes, "Well, this one, it's literally it's got no. The only thing is you can't turn the flash on and off, or it's got some really shitty automated software that tries and works out what's going on. This one I can change all the settings on it I want, and that becomes their reference points for life. They don't then a few years, 10, 15 years later, grab two cameras, same sort of price difference, and go, oh shit, that camera does everything this one does as good as. They don't see they forget about the technological advance. And I think we have to sort of ordinary concept. You can't just like fix in your mind how something is. You have to look at the modern day.
I have the same issue with people who have to go out there and buy like Adobe Premiere and all they're doing is jump cuts and overlays. It's like, why have you just gone and subscribed to Adobe Creative Cloud to use Premiere when all of your videos are just jump cuts?
Yeah,
like. Don't do that. You can do that on anything. I mean, not Movie Maker, but you can do most of that stuff on anything else. But because we seem to think that Adobe is synonymous with quality, so many people go out there and they go out and get Adobe. But it's like that doesn't help you write a good story, or
I think people fall down the fallacy, and I fall down this fallacy myself. In that, right, okay, I don't want to just buy something. I don't want to go in the route of, I'll buy something that's expensive because it must be good. I don't want to go by what looks expensive. I don't want to. I'm going to look what the professionals use. Because the professionals don't give a shit about. Professional industry is pretty cut. They don't really give a shit about what brands it is. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
And so I'll look at what professionals use. Well, they all buy XYZ products. They use XYZ machine, bit of equipment, and so forth. Therefore, I will try and buy perhaps the budget version, or perhaps say and get the proper one that they would use. Because if they use it, it must be the best value for money. In a sense, and that's a fallacy that I fall into as well. But I think it's open to sort of I'm trying to be smarter than other people.
Yeah, sure.
And you still find yourself, well, actually, I don't need to do all this. And does it? And actually it does all this, but do I actually need it to do that?
Yeah, I think we have the same problem with computers and that as well. To be fair, very few people buy these machines and do anything remotely near to what they claim they're going to do with them.
Well, take gaming PCs for example. You can build an insanely powerful gaming PC, but the sad truth of the matter is, most games are built for consoles.
Oh God, yeah. And
so,
if you remember, we've had this discussion before on this one because
several times, yeah.
Because there used to be a day when you and I were playing games where, if you had a game set to anything other than like high or ultra, it would look like what's that thing with Morph, the little clay guy.
Yeah, it looked like shit.
Yeah, they'd look like little putty men or plasticine men.
Yeah.
Like all the details would be gone. Trees would look like sticks. Water with just like this blue blob.
It was a noticeable difference.
Yeah, for sure. Whereas when around the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 kind of era, they were like, we need to make it so that like medium looks good because all we've got to put them on is this. Yeah. Right? And so they put all the work into optimizing, textures and all that kind of shit for the mediums. And then your highs and your ultras were all your fancy lighting effects and particle effects. Yeah. So much is optimized for console now that well, if you look at it, even if you've got a hulking great PC, if a port isn't done right, and it is a port, it is a port to PC. It's not designed on PC or with PC in mind. It's ported to PC. You can have a hulking great machine and have worse performance than the console.
Yeah, well, to be fair, my 1070 in this, until recently, has been playing at most of the console level games, no problem.
GTX 1060 is still the most popular card on Steam.
Yeah.
It's just still the most popular card on Steam. And if you don't mind taking a hit in resolution, and if you don't mind taking a hit in settings, because, as I say, medium, and that's not too bad. I was playing a game the other day on low. I was like, looks fucking fine.
Yeah.
Looks fine. I was doing a stream the other day, and I was playing a game 720p low. Because one of my mates was arguing with me that you need to have high bitrate, high resolution, high frame rate, high quality to have people watch your stream. And I was playing this game at 720p low, and I had more of an audience than they did.
Yeah.
I was like, it looks fine.
Yeah.
If you don't mind taking that hit in resolution, like if frame rate's what you're aiming for, because console gamers have been happy with 30 FPS up until recently. That's all they've had.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's their average. That's been their target.
Yeah.
If you don't mind taking a bump in res and texture quality in that, you can get this hardware to. I don't expect to have to change the 3080 in my machine for fucking ages. If I don't mind knocking down the res in that.
Yeah.
And with DLSS and all that coming out, or hitting its stride now, with DLSS 2, DLSS 3, FSR, the AMD upscaling technology or sharpening technology, you're going to be able to run on a potato for decades.
Yeah. Yeah. I put in over 125 hours into Cyberpunk 2077 on this machine.
Yep.
And it was fine.
Yep.
Was it the prettiest it could be? No.
Sure.
Because I didn't have ray tracing or anything fancy like that. But it was good. It looked good enough that I could play it. And I was playing ultra wide.
I had a machine that was capable of ray tracing, and I didn't even have it turned on. I played, most of the time I played Cyberpunk, I played it on a fucking laptop.
Yeah.
If I could get more than 50 FPS on stretch between medium high, I was happy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, well, look at the Steam Deck. Steam Deck is a pasty. It's a fucking potato. And yet, I know people, and I'm one of them, right, who have bonkers gaming PCs. Mine isn't quite bonkers, but it's up there. Yeah? I know people who have bonkers gaming PCs who would rather sit on the couch with the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
The graphics don't matter. The res doesn't matter. It's not about, it's not about raw horsepower anymore.
It's got to that stage now. The graphics are maturing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Is that for most technology, pretty much across the board, technology goes through a initial start phase where it's a bit shit.
Yeah.
That starts up. Then all of a sudden it goes to this growth phase where it goes up in a short space of time, it goes up this massive increase in terms of quality over time. It really rapidly advances to the point where you can tell the difference between a game from one. You can almost tell which year a game was made by how it looked. And then, and it's again, same with cars, everything. And then you get to this bit where it starts to plateau. And that's when it becomes what they call mature technology. But basically, your gains are harder and harder and harder and harder to get.
Oh, God, yeah.
Your incremental gains are so small, they're hard to get and are harder to notice. And basically, gaming's reached this plateau where the quality difference is so hard to see. It's so hard to notice that it's, unless you're actually just looking for it, unless someone points out, or plus you put side by side, you might notice it. Mm-hmm. But we've reached that mature technology. We've reached that mature level now where there are still games to be had. Yes, there always will be.
Yeah.
But we're not talking the big games from. You look at PS2, year one PS2 game title compared to final year PS2 game title, same hardware, but the graphics jumped immensely in terms of quality.
Because they figured out all the tricks to get the best out of it.
But you compare a year one PS4 game to a year 5 PS4 game, or whatever year it is, and the graphic jump won't be as big. It'll be a jump, but it won't be as
it's now
noticeable.
becoming cost prohibitive, though, isn't it? Because
yes,
it's to get those extra, to get all these extra bells and whistles, we've had to increase the sizes of teams, which is why everything seems so cookie cutter now. Because we've had to come up with a formula for a game that will sell. Because if they take risks, it costs so much to make and so much time to make that if it fails, you could doom a studio in a game.
Yeah. Yes. Because to get more and more fine detail, you need person is a person who could perhaps knock out 50 textures in a day, 20 years ago, can now knock out a texture every 50 days.
Yeah.
Because they've got to be that much more finer detail on it.
There's so much more that can go wrong too. You look at physics engines and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I mean, games are so glitchy now. It's so easy to break immersion. They look gorgeous, but if you turn up at the wrong place at the wrong time and the engine spazzes, all of a sudden you clip through the floor, or a character passes through a building when they're not supposed to, or...
And the other thing that you get as well is there's for some reason there's a mentality in gamer culture of if you recycle anything, you're lazy.
Yeah.
So
look at
if you dare,
go on.
Yeah, if you, I saw a post on, I don't tend to go on that probably very often, but it was on a Reddit gaming subreddit. Someone posted a picture of a texture in a game from one publisher, and about 2 years later, same publisher. They pitched the same texture again and it's been reused. But it was something like in the background, like on a wooden barrel or something silly like that. And it's like, lazy devs reusing textures. I thought, why the fuck wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why is this weird obsession we have that you must now spend 6 months making a new texture to that barrel because you can't dare use the same one again?
Well, it's not even so much the same texture, is it? Like people QQ the idea that you can see even remotely the same building.
Animation. Someone posted about animation today, so you can see the same animation from 2 different games, both Ubisoft games.
Oh yeah, but this is Ubisoft. So it's pretty much the same engine. They're pretty much the same games with a different coat of paint on them.
Yeah.
But look at Halo 1. Halo 1's like 3 levels, and in one case I think it's like the same level 3 times, but one of them's mirrored or some shit.
Yeah. And people were up in arms when Far Cry Primal came out. It used a mod. It basically used as its all like base level the same map as Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
It used the same map, or was it Far Cry 4? Far Cry 4. It used the same map as Far Cry 4. But there's no in-game map on Far Cry Primal. You would never have known.
Yeah. And
yes, they have used it, but it's not. But it's still been completely redone. They use it like as a base, and then built up on top of it. That's just not wasting resources.
I think games are too anal these days, to be honest.
They are. How dare they use the same animation?
But I speak to specs, guys. Go on.
Yeah. How dare they use the same animation again? Well, have you ever noticed that most people run the same way anyway? You don't accuse the Usain Bolt using the same running animation as another person next to him, do you?
That's it. Oh wow, they've got the same starting technique. What the fuck?
How lazy is that?
Didn't develop his own technique. Same with symphony orchestras and that. Well, they're all playing the same style, reading the same kind of music. Oh, what's going on here? It's like, well, yeah, because that's the optimum way of doing things.
Why is the person playing the violin that way? Why are they playing it backwards?
Well, actually, that's a good question. Why are they not playing it backwards? But,
Because they're not stupid.
But see, this is the thing, though, because I speak to a lot of folks who deal in specs all the time, and I'm like, look, guys, you are not a studio. You're not a film studio. Like, yeah, but there's like, I don't know, there's macro blocking here, or my audio levels aren't perfect, or this or that. It's like, I understand that. Okay, but you have to understand where you're delivering to and who you're delivering to before you fucking start wasting all this time faffing around on all. Well, I've gone from 72060s to 864 to 93 whatever. It's like, no, stop. Just fucking set a resolution you're comfortable with, that you can push easily, that other people can watch, right? Because I was just as a note, I keep telling people to stop watching tutorials on YouTube for like live streaming and stuff. Because there was this guy who basically said this thing at the intro to his video. And then within about 10 minutes, right, he's completely changes his story. I was like, but you have literally said in the first part of your video that the second part of your video is completely redundant. That you've gone the majority of your career on these settings, and they're the settings that helped you get to where you are. So everything else you've done after that is redundant.
Yeah.
It wasn't the resolution that got you there. It wasn't the bitrate that got you there. It was you and the product that you put out there. But there are still people out there. Well, if I'm not streaming at this resolution, at this bitrate, using this hardware, I mean, you've seen my equipment cupboard, Ram. I've got thousands and thousands of pounds worth of gear, and sometimes I just go, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to bust out a headset mic. or I'm going to bust it. It's like, just fucking do the thing. Stop worrying about specs. You know, stop worrying about sarcastic air quotes quality, because I've got a couple of friends who are obsessed with quality. It's like, but what is quality? What is it? And they'll come up with some random thing like, oh, it's resolution. You know, it's f-stop on a lens, depth of field. All that's like...
No, it's a homogen of lots of factors.
Yeah. It's like, is that really all you've got? Because if that's all you've got, you're just wasting money. Like, you're just wasting money. But yeah.
Don't let perfection be the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
You know, don't beat yourself up, because I can show you, listeners, you do not have to worry about ensuring that all your VLD levels are correct with random nerds. That's not an issue you have to worry about us.
Never going to happen.
No. So
once upon a time, you know, I used to want to put out a solid groove, and now I'm just like, fuck it, just put it out there. There are people out there who record podcasts on a phone.
Yeah.
And yet now I see people going out buying, like, I mean, I've got really nice microphones. Really nice fucking microphones. But I'll use them for specific jobs. A podcast like this is not one of them. I was like, you can bang out this podcast on a mobile phone. Flat out. Or buy a couple of 15 quid microphones. Or like 15 quid, buy a Behringer Ultra Voice, was it like the XM 1800 or whatever? 2 of those, 30 quid. Cheap interface, probably be another 30 quid. Bam. Random Nerds podcast right there. Done. Yep. You'd never know the difference.
Well, this setup here has been the best part of like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's gradually, as I've like upgraded a bit here and there, a little bit at a time, spare bit of cow, I'll buy a new interface, and gradually over time I've built it up. It's not just gone out on day one and bought it all. The very first Let's Play I did was made with a 15 quid mic from Argos.
Yep. Headset
mic. It does sound shit, admittedly, but
look at a lot of the stuff that YouTube was founded on, right? And they're like, but look at all these Let's Players. Look at the expensive gear they have. It's like, yes, but look at where they were when they got big.
Yeah.
When they started, some of them might have been using a cheap headset mic. Some of them might have been using a cheap 50 quid capture card or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? They're only using that expensive gear now that they're making the money.
Don't fall into the fallacy. Yeah, don't fall into the fallacy. You're getting mixed up your chicken and eggs here. You think they must have this good gear, therefore they're popular. No, they had good content, which they got popular with from the content, and then because they got the money coming, they bought the good gear.
And I say this to people all the time. Look, if you want a perfect example of gear doesn't make you famous, I should be a pretty solid example there. I have got thousands, literally, probably tens of thousands of pounds worth of equipment in my house. Lights, cameras, capture cards. I like playing with this stuff. It's my hobby. Like, not necessarily even making things with it, just playing with it. And then when someone goes, oh, is this any good, Skazz? I'll go, yeah, that's pretty reliable. Because I've literally hammered the ever-loving shit out of it. But I've got thousands of pounds worth of gear. I ain't famous. Not even fucking close. There are people out there with point-and-shoot cameras or iPhones that bang out better quality stuff than I do. It's just a fucking fact.
Yeah.
You work with what you got. The gear ain't going to make you famous. I honestly, I see people out there with thousands and thousands of pounds worth of streaming gear, and they do worse than I do. I have the option of using thousands of pounds worth of stream equipment, but what was it, a couple of weeks ago? I did a stream directly off the Steam Deck, and no one gave a shit. No one cared.
No.
But that's the point. People don't actually care. The producer of the content cares.
Yeah.
But the people actually watching it usually don't care. They're not as clued in as we think they are.
No, your average person can't tell. The average person's not going to sit there and go, hang on a second. He's using an eBay value microphone. I can't possibly watch this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The average person's like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, this guy's good. Oh, this guy's hilarious.
Good job.
Yeah, that's what your average user actually cares about.
Yeah.
Let's discuss some games, Skazz.
Oh, yeah, because I was going to say, we've been going for a good 50 minutes, and you were going to say, after you'd played multiple games, what you had been playing, mate, and then...
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Something happened.
Tangent. Fantastic.
Yeah. Never happens.
Never.
So I...
Rand Nerds, quality tangents since I can't remember when.
Yeah. It's kind of our brand now, really, isn't it? Tangents. Yeah.
Quality derailment since, I don't know.
I'm going to change our thing where it says discuss. We meet up every 2 weeks to discuss games, and it should be saying discuss stuff and sometimes games.
More train wrecks in the history of Rand Nerds than British Rail.
So I have been playing. I've been living the life. I love playing like odd weird simulators.
Yeah.
And so I've been living the fantasy. Living the fantasy life that everybody emulates and wants to be.
Drug
so
dealer?
few of us can.
International porn star.
No, even more fantastic than that.
Vegetable
even
in front of the
more
telly in your underpants.
Even more so than that. This is what everybody possibly could want, and that is to own a petrol station.
Oh, actually, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, you have a petrol station because you have the petrol station, and this game's called Gas Station Simulator. But I won't call it petrol station because I'm British and normal.
Yep.
And you own this petrol station. You basically, this game's got a story mode to it, which is really weird. Because you start the game, you're driving along the highway in Nevada. I think it's going to be in Nevada, like some density area. And you're driving along, and you sort of like, and you drive part. You're driving along like what looks like a main road. You go past this petrol station, and you see a for sale sign. You stop, reverse, and then just drive into it. And then it cuts to. I don't know if it means. I'm trying to work out whether it said 72 hours later or 12 hours later. But either or, still think. You then wake up, now the owner of this station. You've just bought it.
You've just gone and got high off of fumes in the middle of a desert.
and bought a station. And it's a shell. It is an absolute shell. You basically, apparently you trade your car for it. You get a phone call from your uncle.
You traded your car
you sold your car.
Station.
Yes. Yep.
So the guy who owns the petrol station was like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So he takes your car, fills it up with the last time he has to touch them fucking pumps, and drives like fuck. And now you have to make it work because you are stuck in bumfuck middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Until you can eventually sell the petrol station to somebody else for their car. And the circle of life begins. I was going to say,
it sounds like one of them dodgy films, like you've been cursed and you can't leave until some other sucker turns up.
The most shit horror film ever made.
No, that's why I know that from.
This is from Stephen King's cocaine phase, is what
King
this is
Diamond's House of God has a scene just like that.
Just like a petrol station.
Not quite, it's not a petrol station, but same kind of groove. Someone turns, like, there's someone stuck there, some new person turns up, they get talking and taking the other person's place, the other person fucks off, and you have to stay there until someone else turns up to free you. It's like, wow, man, this is a shit version of Crystal Maze.
Yeah. But then, after you buy a petrol station, first of all, you have to find the way into the building, like, they didn't give me the key.
Front door?
Yeah, you get into it says get into the petrol station. Somehow find a way to get into the petrol station. Well, you go there, you take the wood off the door and walk in. Congratulations, you made it.
Wow.
Good.
This is starting to sound like Zork. Zork's like you are standing in front of the house. How do you get into it? The door. The door is locked or the door is bad shut. All right, I'm not just breaking through the window. Okay, then cool, you're in the house. So,
yeah.
I thought I owned this place.
Yeah, so you get in, and then you sort of like do feel a little bit because it looks your task to do. It's like tidy this up and so forth, and then it says, "Oh, go onto the phone," and you walk towards a phone booth on the corner, telephone box. If we're going to stick with the British theme, and it's your uncle calling you. How the hell does he know you've just sold your car for a petrol station? You know, between 12 and 72 hours previously, and B, how do you know where to call? But it's all right because apparently this petrol station you own was on land that your father used to own. So your uncle's quite pleased it's back in the family, and he says he'll help you out.
What do you know?
What do you know? He says he'll help you out by basically paying for things and so forth. So he basically, that's all your tutorial phase. He basically, you don't have to spend any money. He basically pays like up to your, the pump and little digger to do stuff with, and you basically upgrade your pump and do
He
things.
pays for the crowbar to get the wood off the door.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Well, you have got to. It's quite surprisingly detailed that you have to pick the stuff up, put it into a skip, which does fill up. It's just physics, obviously, it fills up. Then you have to pay to someone come pick the skip up.
Yeah, but mate, I've just had to trade my car for a petrol station. I've got no longer.
Well, here's where it deviates from your average simulator style, these simulator style games. Because after you saw like start making success, and he speaks to you, he goes, "Well, now here's the thing. That money was a loan, so you need to pay me back. And if you don't pay me back quick enough, I'll find other ways to get my money back."
He's got a kneecap, yeah.
Yes,
Your uncle's a savage.
That happens. You basically
I'm
try
well
and pay the
happiest
money
back in the
back.
family, but if you don't give me my money back, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Well,
you know that petrol station you've got? I'm gonna set fire to the cunt.
Yeah, you basically you pay for it. You try and pay the money back desperately. You're trying to sort of, he wants like $5,000 off you. You try and pay it back as quick as you can, but you won't have anywhere near enough money. And then when you fail to do this, you walk over, the phone rings again because you failed in the time frame. You have like sort of like a day to do it. You walk back to the phone. This guy turns up in a car and punches you in the face.
Well, that's nice to know.
So,
What a great family.
I wasn't expecting this from this simulator game. This is not what I was expecting at all.
I was going to say, I thought my family was pretty savage, but damn.
But then your uncle turns up, and I'm not quite sure what happens here. He then says, apparently there's a misunderstanding. I presume, and then he apologises and he forgives the debt. It's like, what?
And then he punches you in the face.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, so you come on, mate, you've got a gas station to run. I can't do the Texan accent. That wasn't Texan at all.
Does he ride up on his horse with his cowboy
No.
hat?
He's in a cowboy hat, but like one of those limousines. And
I was
a
going
big
to say,
cigar.
yeah, but that was the second guess. Is he going to turn up like JR in a limo?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And he sort of forgives it. And apparently, it's all a misunderstanding. You know, he didn't mean to send despite the fact he threatened you, he didn't mean to send it to the debt collectors.
It was all a misunderstanding up until he realised all the money you did have had to be spunked away at the local hospital because it's in America. You've just been lamped one, broken nose. That cost you about 10 grand to get your face fixed.
Yeah. But then at least after he does sort of leave you alone, you can borrow money off him again if you want, but you have got to pay it back if those things happen. But I've not had to do that yet so far. But anyway, on to the actual game itself. It's surprisingly full featured. So you literally start off this little wooden shack, and you can redecorate it, you can paint it, you can obviously clear the rubbish out. Like say, it's fairly smart, and they've got some quality of life stuff. So picking up rubbish, for example, you can actually have a rubbish bag. Crazy thing, you have to like take things one at a time, and you can pick them up and so forth. Yeah, but what's quite neat is when there's a bit later when you unlock a garage, we can do a workshop, you can do repairs on cars and stuff, and all the stuff you use to repair it just drops onto the floor. You have to go back and pick it up, otherwise it'll just stay there forever.
Right.
But you start off first of all, you clear out your petrol station, so you can put like some shelves in it. You can buy goods to put on the shelves, like you can buy a drink stand, and you have to go buy the goods and pop them on the shelves there. And because it's America, and Americans can't be trusted with filling their own cars up, it's a service station. Mm-hmm. So people turn up, and you have to fill the car up. And it's got a lot of little mini games in it. So it's got a little mini game where you'll see a gauge, and it'll mark how much fuel they want, and you've basically got to keep going until your needle matches the gauge and stop. And if you do that, you get a tip, and it's fairly easy to do because it moves very slowly. So it's very straightforward to do that. You can do that, and then you can basically, as I say, you sort of like after you're a bit of filling up, you have to get your reorder more petrol to come in to refill it. You only sell one type of fuel, just full. It doesn't say whether it's petrol, diesel, kerosene, uranium. You just sell full.
Diesel's not common in the States anyway, so
it must be petrol.
Yeah.
And you sell one type of fuel, and then you have to order a truck in to come and fill up and so forth. So you need to keep an eye on how much fuel is, because if you ain't got any fuel, you can't sell anything.
That's weird.
It is weird, isn't it? You can't actually set prices on anything though. You can't set the fuel price yourself though. It's all fixed.
Oh.
Which is a bit strange, but
regulators have got in, heavy-handed bastards.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, bloody regulations.
Government.
But yeah,
Overstepping.
eventually, yeah. But once you open up a shop and buy some goods, you then have like there's like a little you have to actually man the checkout. So people queue up at the checkout, and they'll put there's a little conveyor belt which you have to hit shift in the conveyor belt and run, and they have to grab items off the conveyor belt, scan them, and then put them in the basket. But if you, presumably this is the law where this petrol station is set. If you drop something to the basket before you scan it, they get it for free. I thought I've never known that to be a thing. But what's better is because you haven't done it right, the customers get pissed off with you. So they'll actually say, "What the hell?" They'll actually say, "Like, what the hell, man?"
What the fuck are you
like
doing
that.
giving me this 50 quid thing for free? Bell
Yeah,
end?
they will. They'll have.
you.
Why will they give you? Why will they have a go at you? You'll get negative reputation points for it because you give them a free pack of cookies.
Wow. This is why I don't work in customer service, mate, because I just go, then get the fuck out of my petrol station, you cunt. And then,
I tell you what, Skazz, it took me a lot of effort to suppress the urge because I've worked in retail for years. It took a lot of effort to suppress the urge to start automatically trying to talk to them and say bullshit. Like, oh, hi, how are you doing? That's an interesting product you're buying today. Just the bullshit that you learn in retail.
Mate,
it's very hard to stop doing that, not try and do it.
I can't do it. I can't. I hate retail work. I've worked retail a few times in my life. I will do anything I can to get out of retail work.
Yeah, well, this is retail, I'm afraid.
Can't have it. Nope.
Yeah.
0 out of 10. Not
There you
going
go. But it's okay because I have eventually hired someone to man the cashier for me.
Oh, there you go.
So, actually, and then after you sort of you'll have like sort of like story objectives to get, and then you'll have like sort of challenges to fulfill. And once you complete them, you can upgrade. So you can like buy more parking spaces, so people can actually park up and come into your shop. There's a toilet out back that you can unlock, as it were, and start selling, and people will start using it. You can start sort of making money through the toilet. There's a warehouse. So this will give you an idea for how the game sort of is somewhat quite both detailed, but also quite good quality of life. So you have a warehouse that has limited space. You have to buy stuff, and that stuff, say you want like more goods for your shelves, that'll then get delivered to the warehouse. You have to open the warehouse up, and the truck will drive in. You have to unload it and put it in your shelves in your warehouse, and the truck will drive off, and then you sort of close the warehouse down. And then you have to work the stock from those boxes onto the shelves. That's easy. You just walk up to the shelf, you click on it, and it just automatically transfers it across. So it's quite easy to do. But it's a nice little detail that actually has like a full-on logistics system going on in the background, and having to arrange deliveries. I've now unlocked a workshop, so I can now do repairs to people's cars. And these people are insane, the way they drive around. Oh, by the way, just put out there, the ghost of Elvis is in it. But just say, Elvis turns up occasionally as a ghost.
Sounds fair.
He turns up occasionally as a ghost. Father Christmas turns up occasionally. He flies overhead.
Jesus?
I've not seen him yet, no.
Not yet.
As you sort of like get more upgraded stuff, you unlock more events, things that can happen. But I've unlocked the workshop, and that's basically, and that's the people insane because you'll come and you'll have like their like wheel be completely mangled. Like it's like how did you drive this? And you just have to place it. Well, the same process. You buy stock in, fill the shelves out, and then place it. Bits are quite expensive, but it's sort of like worth it. What's like with those the people who brought the car in will stand next to the car the whole time you're repairing it. It takes you like 3 days to do. They'll just stand next to the car the entire time. So don't you have a home to go to?
Well, you did say you were in bumfuck middle of nowhere.
Apparently so. Yeah, well, they're dead. They are dead. They have to say they've been sleeping there. I should have set a little hotel up. That'd be good. And when you're by yourself, and to balance this with the being, I mean, the game does tell you, oh, there's someone here at the full to buy full. There's someone here at the checkout, and you'll have to you'll be like seeing their thing. All right, I'm sorry, I know I'm in the middle of fixing your scratches, but I need to finish that, and I need to go and serve someone at the checkout. Oh, someone has to buy full. I'll quickly fill them up. Run back to the checkout, serve some more people. Run back here, change the next wheel, run back, and just you're bouncing between it all and so forth, trying to sort of serve people and what have you. Some of the events are quite sort of some events are quite. There's some like sort of quite insane events, which are quite stressful. There's one event where you can unlock a bus stop. And if you unlock the bus stop, occasionally a bus will turn up and park up and it'll unload like a dozen people who all come to the shop to buy stuff.
Right.
And you'll have a massive queue of people. You're just trying to scan stuff through quick as you can because you've got a massive queue of people all trying to buy stuff. It's. I tell you, it bring back bank holiday day memories to me. Is what it did. That sort of the shell shock of bank holidays. So
Retail PTSD.
Yeah, it did. It did. Trying to scan it all through, and because it was a party bus I had turn up, so they're all wearing fancy dress like alien masks and like werewolves and that sort of shit. And it was absolute insanity. And eventually got them all sold and sorted out. So, I need to hire somebody. So I've now hired a worker who you basically, and again, tying with the theme, he lives on site. You buy him a little shitty caravan that he lives in. And yes.
Why don't you just sell him the petrol station and fuck off?
I just think, but I've bought the caravan. That's the insane thing. I've bought the caravan. He cost me $8 an hour. Now I'm not sure $8 an hour is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty shit.
Yes.
That's about £4 or £5 an hour, I think.
No. Pound ain't that strong, son. Nowhere near that strong.
Oh, I was
gonna say we ain't living back in the early 2000s anymore, mate.
It's $6.50 an hour.
Oh, really? Have we gone up?
Yeah, we've gone up $6.50 an hour. I'm paying them, which is not even, which is like 2/3 of British minimum wage.
I was gonna say, frankly, you couldn't live on that. You couldn't live on that in the States.
No, well, it's all right. He lives in a caravan behind my.
What's he doing? Fucking eating cup ramen every day.
I'm assuming
that he has to buy from you.
Yes, I pay him in special RAM money. He spent my petrol station. No, I assume he goes into like the desert and like hunts a snake or something. I'm just assuming. That's his problem, not mine.
Wow.
I mean, I'm making look. I work a virtually 24-hour shift. I've not slept in 14 days in this game. I've been up constantly running this petrol station.
Say, it sounds like a normal work week for me.
Yeah. It's like, this guy, he gets to work and he gets like 8 hours off every day. I don't get that.
Lucky bastard.
So, I haven't got a lot of sympathy for him. Anyway, Andrew's doing well. He's working on the keys. I put him on the checkout because I can do the more complicated stuff. And also I can do like the refueling. I can do it so quick now because they all tend to be the same sort of position every single time. So I've got so quick at doing that. But it's a surprisingly detailed game. Now, there have been a few issues. One time I was waiting for delivery of some car parts. And you get a little marker when it shows you how far away it is. You can see the marker, and it's just like a little like in-game mark on your HUD.
Yeah.
And it shows it as it comes in. You can see it's all like through the wall driving around this little icon. And it went past, I go past the petrol station, just stopped and wouldn't carry on going. Thinking, what's going on here? Has it got stuck behind? Is there a car there it's stuck behind? Walked out. I'm not sure what happened, but I went out there and saw this Arctic lorry upside down. I thought that must be me in Euro Truck Simulator driving this. But
it's just gone past the cider zone, son.
Yeah, it's upside down, and it's still got its wheels like full out because why not?
Reasons.
And so, but there is the game. The devs obviously figured out this could be a problem. So what they've done is they fitted a "oh shit, it's all gone wrong" button next to your sign. So you've got a sign which you can pull a sleeve and switch it to open or close. You can switch it open and close. You can close it if you want to have a bit of breathing space to, kind of tidy up, redecorate, what have you. But next to it is this "oh shit" button, and what it does is it basically clears all the NPC cars. It resets everything back to sort of square one. So if anything's stuck or fucked up, you push that button. But what I love is how the game does it, because in most simulators will have this sort of like functionality, like Pharmacist's got you go into the menu, hit a button, and everything just gets plonked back at your start. Oh no, not in Gas Station Simulator. No, what happens is aliens arrive in flying saucers and abduct all the cars.
That sounds about normal. You said you
Yeah.
live out in the desert, so yeah.
They abduct everybody, and they abduct everybody and fly off. And it's like, oh, well, that's one way to reset it, I suppose. But yeah, I've got stage of a lot as you unlock. So actually, you can upgrade your petrol station, and as you upgrade it, you get more. If like the spaces get bigger, you can then upgrade like your warehouse. You can store more stuff in your warehouse. You get a better workshop. You can do more stuff in the workshop. You can also unlock more types of goods to sell in your shop. So base level, you can sell snacks and drinks. That's what you can sell. Next level up, you can sell alcohol, ice cream, and tobacco. I haven't got any tobacco. I don't agree with smoking, so I haven't got any tobacco products in my store. And then one after that, you can sell newspapers and car care.
Right.
So I've got both of those now. So you gradually can add in more stuff to your shop. Very much like Shopkeep. If that actually works better than Shopkeep in a lot of ways, it's like, you guys they've thought like almost if they've looked at that game, they've learned from it. What I would like is your workers at the moment to control your workers, you have to basically say, okay, go man the till, go on a break. But if you don't, what I understand, they'll just stay there forever. So I kind of would like to have some sort of scheduling in it, so I can actually set a schedule up and say, okay, Andrew, you need to run the till between 8 and 6 when we're busy, so I can get off. And I would like to see things. I'd like to see things like graphs that show how many customers I get over time, so I can see when we're busy. I can see what time frames, so I know when to like man people, which is something in real life I could have.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to see like what goods are selling quicker. How many are selling out, so I can see what's popular and buy more of them. Or if I see a trend, I can buy for a trend. So I'd like that sort of stuff to be in it. But it's a surprisingly good game. I went to thinking this is going to be a little bit hilarious, a little bit shit, but it's surprisingly in depth. It's surprisingly polished. I've only had one game breaking bug, which was my fault. But overall, I've been pretty pleasantly surprised at how good it actually is. Surprised how good and how actually enjoyable it is as well. It's apart from those few odd moments, it's pretty relaxing as well. You can sort of chill and go around, sort of brush up you're in the sort of quiet moments with your customers. You can sweep the floors and tidy up and make it look pretty and so forth. Oh, another event that can occur. There's this little bastard called Dennis, and Dennis, he's a menace. He is, and he comes running in. He lives nearby apparently. So somebody lives nearby. You hear his laughter from a mile away, and he comes pounding across the desert at your thing with a spray can, and he runs up and he'll randomly tag because it's his turf. And so he'll randomly tag and put spray markings on your building. These could be the things like Dennis is king to like a cock with rings or something on it, and he'll graffiti all over your petrol station. And to get rid of him, you have to pick things up and throw it at him.
Yeah.
So I literally picked up this massive plank of wood and threw it at him. Then I threw a TV at him. And then when you throw a couple of things at him, he gets a bit pissed off and runs away.
Just fucking baseball bat the little bastard when he comes up.
There is no melee weapons in it, unfortunately.
Oh. Let's be fair, it is America, so you'd normally shoot them. That's a ranged thing. So throwing things as close as you're going to get.
Yeah. We've just had a comment from, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Session? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. What topics do you guys discuss on this podcast? Well, funny you should say that.
Oh dear.
Officially, we discuss games and other related things. But being two middle-aged British people, we tend to go off on a tangent quite a lot, so we end up discussing lots of random stuff from local shopping to what Brits say the British school system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but officially we discuss games. So when you've joined the right moment where we're discussing Station Simulator.
You've missed the hour-long tangent.
You missed the hour-long tangent about random stuff, but you've joined at just the right moment to hear us discuss Gas Station Simulator. So you've come at the right time. You can ignore the first hour. This will do fine. So, Uh, uh, right, yeah, but yeah, so it's
Oh dear.
yeah, Bernards. But yeah, it's a real neat fun game. This is your first time here. Well, we all had our first time at some point.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah.
This will be first and last by the end of this episode, I'm sure.
So there's over 208 previous episodes you can check out, so you'll be fine.
Just think we've already been doing this for what, a decade now?
10 years to August.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a surprisingly fun game. I was really surprised at how much I've enjoyed it and how in depth it is. And in fact, I've still got more stuff to do. My garage is like level 3. There's like 5 levels. I'm level 3 at the moment. I've still got like other things to unlock. There's a car wash you can unlock as well at some point. And at some point you can do an ice cream stand. What types of games do we play? For me, all sorts. Simulators, walking simulators, shooters. Not such a big into strategy games. Tend to be single player games. I don't tend to do like a lot of like. I do online stuff mainly co-op rather than versus or PvP stuff. Skazz?
Everything from I will happily play all of the games that Ram doesn't. I'll happily play online tac shooters, arena shooters. I don't even mind an anime titty game from time to time. Who cares? If it's a game and I can get it, I'll probably play it.
Yeah. He mainly plays Yeast or Hyperdimension Neptunia, to be fair. But...
It's true. It is true. Ys, Monster Hunter, Hyperdimension Neptunia, Ys, maybe a spin-off of Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Oh, Steins Gate. I forgot about Steins Gate.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget Steins Gate and all the remakes of Steins Gate. Bought a fair few of those. If it runs on Steam Deck, chances are I've got it. If it doesn't run on Steam Deck, chances are I've got it.
Yeah, this man owns... How many thousands of games do you own?
I think I'm now coming up to 2,000. Look,
Yeah,
hey,
2,000.
I've been holding back recently because you guys started taking the piss. I'm waiting for you guys to catch up, all right?
Well, you'll be waiting a long bloody time for us to catch up.
I think it must be on like 1,600 on Steam.
Yeah.
And then if you add in my console libraries and all the other stuff, I've got a few games. I could practically make a sofa out of all my games.
Probably.
Yeah.
Right. This game is $15.49 at the moment. In actual fact,
Is it early access?
No, it is complete, but they have got some DLC for it. And $15.49. I would say actually it's a fair price for that.
Are these all made by different people? Because there's like obviously, you know, gas station simulator, PC builder simulator, I don't know, hardcore porn director simulator, drug dealer simulator. What was the first? Surgeon Simulator was the first one, wasn't it?
Well, you're not looking for Germany because Germany had. I mean, Farming Simulator goes back quite a bit.
Oh, no, fuck farming. That's a serious one. I'm talking about the stupid derpy things that have been coming out over all these last couple of years. Power Wash Simulator, fucking.
Hey, Power Wash Simulator is a good game. I won't have anything said against it.
All right. I'll take your word for us like that. And House Flipper, I'm just like, what?
So from Drago Entertainment, the other games you have Motel Simulator. Food Truck Simulator,
right.
Winter Survival.
Winter Survival in your Food Truck Simulator?
It just says Winter Survival. I don't know if it's a DLC, but yeah, they've got plenty of various games. I quite like the. I might give Motel Simulator a go. That looks quite interesting.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
No.
I like those running a hotel.
No.
Oh, it's coming soon. It's not released yet. I'll add to wish list. Yep. Job done. Sasha, 2,000 games on PC. Oh, good for you. Well,
see, there you go. Fucking, it's not that unusual.
Yeah. No, it's not. You're in the same segment a percentile as Skazz, I'd imagine.
No, mate, that's 2,000's like way higher than me.
Yeah, not by much though.
Mate, I ain't got the money. I'm poor. I've got 2 kids. I can't afford to buy 400 more games to catch up. Just be thankful you're not talking about my ROMs and emulators collection.
Have we played Resident Evil series? I've played the original Resident Evil series on the PlayStation.
I've played the original Resi series. Right, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a huge fan of the Resi series, but my wife got me Resident Evil 0 when it first came out on GameCube. And that was fucking fantastic. And any of the remakes that have come out are generally pretty good. I own them, just haven't put a huge amount of time into them.
I have got plans to go through the remakes at some point. I haven't got, but they are, I would like to go play through the remakes again.
I want to go through the what was the one that came out before Village? Was that 7?
Oh god,
I think it might have been 7. I really, really, really wanted to give that one a go because that seems really fucking weird. I think that's one of the ones they first tacked VR into. That'd be fantastic, just rapping someone in the face with a shovel or something.
Just to show my age, the last Resident Evil game I played,
Nemesis on PlayStation 1?
Not quite as bad as Nemesis. Last area I played was Code Veronica.
Oh, I never played Code Veronica.
Yeah, that's how bad that. That's PS2, so that's early 2000s.
Is that the one with the chick in red on the front?
Maybe.
Mate, look how vague could that be? There's like a million games like that.
Yeah, but is that the game with the dude with the gun on the front?
Is that the game with the title and the character and the age rating on it?
Yeah. Is that like there was a phase where every computer game, and well, this is only for the visual listeners of this, but every game box cover featured a guy doing this.
I just want to throw out there, right? There's going to come a time where we go, a game with a character on the cover. And people are going to go, cover? Yeah, for the box or the case. The what? Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. You guys are
you mean the thumbnail?
Yeah, there you go. You know the guy that was in the trailer that did the thing? Oh, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, what's that game, Skazz, where you have a gun and you shoot it? What is that game?
Oh, you know that? What you mean? Do you mean the one with the guy with the thing that wears the clothes?
Yeah, the guy with the gun who shoots things and the things die.
And the scenario?
The scenario storyline. Yeah. It involves a secret government agency or something.
Well, fuck. That's actually cut a lot out of my list just then. I was like... Wait, we're talking Doom?
We should do. There's a version of Guess Who to be made, Guess Game, where you have all the game titles and you have to ask questions to eliminate try to work out which game is your person's pick.
Oh, mate, that'd be
Does
insane.
your game have hell demons in it? Yes, that doesn't narrow it down.
I was going to say, it really doesn't narrow it down.
Does your game have an inventory? Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
I could narrow down to a publisher. Does your game have rocket jumping in it?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Now down to a publisher at least.
Well, id.
Yeah, exactly. See, now it's down a little bit.
Well, then, fuck it, Quake 3. Nailed it.
or if this is the early 2000s, does your game have Nazis in it? Shit.
I was just, mate, there's loads of games even
That's
now.
what I mean. Early 2000s, it wouldn't narrow it down at all. Like every other game was the bad guys with Nazis because they're basically someone had done all the prep work. Someone had done all like the modelling and stuff for them.
Someone had done all the prep work. Yeah, the Germans.
Yeah. So someone had done all like all the.
You
didn't need any concept art, did you? Then you just took a photo.
We need a really hardcore Saturday morning style cartoon villain. The Germans. Yeah, sounds pretty good. We got any photos for reference? Fucking loads of them, mate. Are they really that evil? Read a history book.
No, don't call them Germans, call them Nazis and you're fine. You can do whatever you like to them then.
You can do whatever you like to them.
You're fine. Dear. That's right. Whatever nasty things you do in your game, that's fine. You're all sorted. You're good there.
Oh, bless.
Bless. Yeah.
In fairness, we play a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's weird because actually thinking of survival horror games, what's the last survival horror game we played? Oh, well, no, Hunt Showdown, that's not survival.
Oh, well,
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. It depends what you mean by survival. Yeah,
I mean,
I
as survival horror actually goes, I'd probably say, what was that? Fucking Silent Hill 2?
well, yeah, maybe you replayed it.
I can't remember what it's called. The one in the insane asylum where we got kicked through the window.
Oh, the one we both hated.
Did we even finish that?
Outlast?
Because that was shit.
Yeah, we did finish that.
Did
just
we?
Determined, yeah.
I've erased that from my memory. That game sucked.
Yeah. I want to say, was it Outlast?
Yeah, whatever that was, it sucked more. It was
terrible.
It was more unpleasant than a habanero enema.
Yeah, it's that game. It's that survival horror game, with the big dude in it.
Oh my god, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Oh.
Have you played anything else, Ram?
Only Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, that is a fun game, but I never seem to
fun,
have any luck with that game at all.
It's a fun but very old game.
I changed the assault rifle. I was on a roll, and then you cunts let me die. Some misery.
Well, these things happen.
Yeah.
How many times have I unlet you out the cupboard in that game? Quite a few now.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, this is how much I like
come out of the closet, son.
I frequently let you out of the closet to come back into the game.
Yeah, that last one was absolutely abysmal. Absolutely, like every time we play, something always happens where my stats have to drop. Like I have to run off and let the dog out, or I have to go do something else. Like, can I just play the game?
Yeah, no, I need to let the dog out. Tough, you're going to get eaten by zombies.
That's basically the groove. So for fuck's sake. Or you petrol bomb me. So what are you doing?
Well, the trouble is, because we've played Vermintide, which is basically Left 4 Dead with Skaven. That's exactly Left 4 Dead with Skaven, but doesn't have friendly fire. So you can throw a bomb at point range, it doesn't matter. But I keep forgetting Left 4 Dead has friendly fire.
Yeah.
So
you fucking dick.
Hey, I get shot as well. Not just me doing the shooting. I am embodying, American military.
I was going to say you're channeling your inner American.
Yeah, blue and blue fire.
In your defense, I found a clip of a Hunt Showdown match from like 2020, 2019 or 2020, and it was me, Zabermall, and Van Fury. And we open up this fucking door, and there's me and Van, and all of a sudden, Zaber goes to try and cook a Molotov for whatever reason, and it just explodes in his hand. And we're just fucking all going, ah! As everything just catches fire. We run, and we're trying to fucking bandage ourselves and fight this boss at the same time. It's like, you fucking dick! It's like, oh yeah, you can't prime it like in fucking with an actual grenade. It's like, no, you can't! It's either gonna break and explode.
He tried to cook off a Molotov.
Fucking hilarious. Just open this door and the whole room caught fire. So, mate, no.
That's just amazing. I mean, I just had the thought process there. I'll just cook this off.
Mate, I will have to send you the clip. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No, Left 4 Dead. For those of you who don't know, if anyone's joining us who doesn't know, I'm sure we all know what Left 4 Dead is. It's such a... It's got a bazillion users on it. I think like every person in the whole world's played Left 4 Dead at some point, I'm sure. Valve games, new co-op game up to 4 people against loads of zombies. The levels are meant to be like almost like films and stuff, and each level is actually meant to be completely self-contained.
Yeah.
They're actually meant to be treated from one A to B. They're not meant to be like a campaign linked together. Second Left 4 Dead, they do link them together. But first one, they are like treated like individual stories.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're in a group of mates, and you have to go up against the old zombies, shooting, killing, getting the heads, and you go through the levels spin to like sort of like a number of like chapters. So some have got 5 chapters, some have got 3, some have got difference between. And you have to get, and the 18 chapter is a safe room. You get a safe room, and the final chapter is the sort of like one where if you die, you die. All the chapters up to that, if you die, you can get respawned. But the final chapter, if you die, you don't respawn. You're out of the game. And usually it's like this big sort of last showdown where you have to fight for all the monsters and zombies coming at you, and there'll be loads of hordes of them coming at you. and you wait for a helicopter to come in or a boat. And you have to jump on it and get away. That was hilarious. That was absolutely. That was so funny.
That was pure cheese.
That was. Well, what happened was because you said Zoe got knocked off. The NPCs, the tribe NPCs, teleport, and she must. And I saw the footage. She disappeared. She must have teleported behind you, which is what triggered the boat.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened there. So, because you thought she got kicked off the boat, but she didn't. She did, but she didn't. She magics herself back. But it's really good. You have like special infected as well. Like there's a smoker that basically throws a tongue out that will drag you away. There's a witch which for some reason Zaber keeps accidentally activating.
We did that the other night after we did our games night session. Me and Zaber jumped in and all we did was run at him and just aggro the fuck out of him. So do we aggro him? Nah, and then we just turned around and just fucking unloaded on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got that. There's like the tank, who I forgot actually. People go on about the tank, but the tank is really easy.
The tank is cheese, yeah. Unless it corners you and you're the only one there, like it's nothing.
Yeah,
is it the boomers, which are really weirdly named these days? Yeah,
boomers it's a different connotation now. But the boomers
they're the big fat guys, aren't they? That vomit on you.
Yeah, big fat guys. They vomit on you, and the vomit attracts a horde. And if you shoot them, they explode. If you're too close, you get effectively the same thing happen. I don't know if it's got lots of little simple rules, simple systems in it that actually make a very interesting experience. It's really good fun. You can see why Vermintide just copied it wholesale.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
even the way that enemies capture you and drag you and all that kind of stuff is all the same as Vermintide, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And when I say copy, I mean in the nicest possible way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Vermintide's great.
Vermintide is a great game. Vermintide. If you've not played Vermintide, Vermintide is a really great game to play. So it is just absolutely fantastic little game.
It's really fun, but sometimes I feel the scenarios are a tad short. It's buggy as fuck. But even though it's buggy, sometimes it's just really, really funny. Like when you see like a tank get stuck in a wall because it's trying to follow you through a window, but it's too big, so it's just getting clips.
Yeah. I think the scenarios being short is a side effect of when it was released.
Yeah. Well, it was, because it got released as Left 4 Dead 2 at least got released on Xbox, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes.
Xbox 360.
That is part of the orange box, wasn't it? You got Left 4 Dead. Was it? No, it's Team Fortress 2. I'm thinking of. Sorry, not Left 4 Dead.
No, Left 4 Dead 2. I think was an individual. So it turns out that was the version I played. Left 4 Dead on Xbox. Left 4 Dead 2, I think. But that was, mate, just so fun. It's fucking chaos. And because it's got the director system in it as well, no two playthroughs are realistically the same. Because if you're playing really well, it just throws more of the bigger shit at you. And if you're playing like Scrub, you just get like loads of little geezers turn up. Like, so I remember in one section we run through and I got fucking mobbed. Like, you guys had already run ahead. And I was picking up a wave that was coming behind us. But the second time through, they didn't turn up. So me and Zabel were prepped, ready to mow these motherfuckers down, and they never turned up.
Yeah. It was, the director is the Valve's first at AI, and as you say, it assesses how you do. And it'll do things like, it'll also try and guess how stressed you are. So it'll do things like, if, say, for example, you get vomited on by a boomer, it'll ease off you a little bit. It takes not just to account as a team, but goes by individuals as well. Mm-hmm. So it'll say, yeah, our guy's probably quite stressed at the moment. Well, we'll ease off him a little bit. We won't go quite so hard on him in the future. Yeah. So it does all little things like that. It's a really, really neat. I fancy trying to go back to it and see does it still hold up, and I think it does.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It bugs me very much that it's Counter-Strike gaming, but again, early, old school Valve game. No aiming down sights. Pew pew, job done. Center screen click.
Yeah. I suppose the only thing that I would like to see, and any criticism I can level at the game is not particularly fair because it's very old.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would like to see is more weapon types.
Yes, because what?
So,
SMG,
pistol, shotgun, or basically it's pistols. Then it's shotgun and better shotgun, an SMG and assault rifle, and
Yeah.
there's a sniper rifle, but the sniper rifle
Not
is very
particularly
situational. No,
Yeah.
if you can have it as a secondary, be quite useful, but you can't use it as a primary. It's just so situational. It's very. There's only one bit in it where actually that would be useful for a period of time, and the reason that was useful is because the weapons were right next to where I could use it.
Yeah.
So immediately after use, I could go back and switch to an assault rifle again. Otherwise, I tend to stick the assault rifle. Zayma tends to go shotgun. You seem to flip between the two.
Yeah. I like the assault rifle when I'm in the groove because I can headshot things from across a map with the assault rifle.
Yes, you can.
So I'm not too, but like if I want to clear things quickly, I can mow things down a lot more with the thing. What I've found is that I'd like to have the shotgun at the start because I don't like the SMG at the start. The range is shite. Or it's like an Uzi, isn't it?
Yeah, the actual SMG is it's got a very wild spray on it.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. So I'd stick with the shotgun at the start, and then roll out to the assault rifle at the end. The last run with the assault rifle, the last game we played, I got into my groove with the assault rifle until I got done in, and then I was basically fucked then.
Yeah. No, it was No,
I wonder if all that changes in Left 4 Dead 2, because it is also interesting that it tracks every individual stat of your character too, like how many times you play as a specific character, accuracy with each gun, preferred gun, and all that kind of stuff. Like it's all actually tracked on your Steam profile.
Yes, which is neat.
Yeah, I mean you don't see that many games do that, but then I suppose it is.
It's Valve, isn't it? So yeah. I wonder if Dota's tracked like that on your Steam profile.
Oh, maybe.
For the lols, we should try Dota at some point.
I have done. It's great.
Is it?
It's fucking mate. Dota and League of Legends. When you're playing casually, it's fucking hilarious. It's great fun. It can get really tense, but it's really, really, really fun. You can burn through an hour in a heartbeat. In a game of Dota or League. We played it, me and my mate Divine played it last July.
Oh, no.
I mean, we weren't particularly good at it, but for free-to-play games, it is fucking phenomenal. We played Counter-Strike, CSGO, Valorant, League of Legends, Dota, and Overwatch. And we were actually very surprised to find that the MOBAs were at the top for us. They were absolutely brilliant. So if there ever comes a time when we all want to play, I mean, I've got a bunch of people who would love to play Dota if we can get a full team.
I'd like to. I might brave Dota at some point.
Come on, pussy! Woo! Let's go! I got a little too excited there, sorry.
Yeah, you did a bit, didn't you? That was rather sort of...
Mate, honestly, it is... Because me and Divine have only ever played with... It's been me, Divine, and randoms. The rest of the team has been filled with randoms. The idea that we could actually get, like, maybe half a team or a team together in a game would just be great. Absolutely fucking great.
So I thought Dota was free.
Hey?
I thought it was free Dota.
No.
What is it then?
It's 2 teams of 5, isn't it?
Is it 2 teams of 5? Okay.
I think it's 2 teams of 5. Same with League.
I said I've never played Dota.
Wait. So it'd be... I'm just trying to think in terms of League, what is that? That's top, mid, bottom, support, jungler, 5.
Oh, okay.
3s?
I don't know. I've never played Dota.
So
I know of it.
No, because Dota's got 3 lanes, top, middle, and bottom.
That's probably what I was thinking.
It's not a player per lane.
That's probably what I was thinking.
Like I say, you get top, mid, bottom. Bottom usually has a support as well, and then you'll have a jungler. That's League terms, just someone kind of rocking around the map, ganking people when they can.
Fair enough.
But League is a good one as well. If we're going to play Dota, we have to play League as well. League is fucking phenomenal. If you haven't watched Arcane on Netflix, do so.
I've not. Amazingly, my father has watched Arcane.
It was good. for a way to explain the story of a bunch of characters. That was great.
I've seen some of the animation. The animation looks absolutely amazing.
I mean, let's put it this way, right? Me and Divine played. Was it last? Did I say last July? I'm sure it was last July we played. Last July or the July before it. We got so hardcore into it. For the video folks, I'm holding up a copy of the League of Legends Realms of Runeterra official companion book. Divine got it for me after we played our kind of get good gaming session. The stuff you can play for free these days is absolutely fucking phenomenal. League's free, Dota's free, Counter-Strike is free, Valorant is free. These days, just buy yourself a fucking potato PC, and you've got so much stuff. So much fucking fantastic stuff out there. If you can just get a couple of mates together, I don't know, we're Billy No Mates PC gamers, but mate, Ram, if you're up for playing Dota or giving it a go, get it fucking downloaded. I've already got it downloaded because me and Jimmy keep saying we're going to go back to it, me and Divine. So it could be me, you, Divine, and if we can get Zaber in, that'd be top.
Oh, cool.
Or if you want to play some Counter-Strike, Divine will do that as well. So
sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Woo! We'll end up fucking. Right. We'll be holding up the trophies as we go and become Dota World Champions. Never.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're too old for that. I'm afraid we've gone past our Twitch reflexes are gone now. We're not
just thrown out there, right? One of the greatest players of League, right? Is his name's Faker. And so, mate, Faker he's well past it, mate. He's getting too old now. He's getting too old. He's fucking 26. I think he's like 26 or somewhere between like 26 and 28. I was like, fuck off. I'm well old.
Isn't like in the in Korea where like the sort of StarCraft houses, like they sort of like write you off when you get to like 22, 23.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, because your reactions and your APM drop. It's the same with Counter-Strike. They say once you hit your 30s, you're getting too old. But it's like at the end of the day, though, it's reaction times then versus game sense. You know the angles, you know the strats. You've got the experience to put all that stuff into play, whereas the other people might be able to fucking headshot you from, in a nanosecond kind of thing. But I think we should take a crack at some of those. To be honest with you, mate, because they're phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Dota will give you 1070 a run for his money. I ain't kidding. That's a gorgeous looking game.
I tell you what, when the party bus turned up a gas station simulator, that gave the 1070 a run for its money.
Shit.
There were so many NPCs turning up in a quick succession. I ended up having a bit of lag. It's like, oh shit! It's actually struggling a bit here.
Little tip: hoover out your
PC.
PC.
Yes, I probably do need to do that at some point. Although
just imagine that you open up the side of your case, there's nothing but dust.
No, although I use compressed air, I don't use a hoover.
Yeah, I was going to say don't use a hoover. I'm being sarky.
No,
but
hoovers,
get an air compressor if you can.
Yeah, I've took my PC. The farm's got a massive, powerful air compressor that you pump the air, like you pump the tractor tires up with.
Fucking hell!
So
where's all the caps gone off my graphics card? I don't know, somewhere over there.
The truth of the matter is, actually, you'd be surprised actually how even like a little air compressor can
they're pretty
do insane. Yeah, they could do even like I've got a little air compressor that runs off my 12 volts in the car, and that can do something up to like 3 or 4 bar, which is about 60 psi. I can do. It's surprising actually how powerful they can be. The little ones.
It's beautiful.
It gets bloody hot if it does that, but you can do it. Right, Skazz, I think we'll have to call that an end here. If that's okay with yourself. Have you got anything else?
2 hours!
I know. And majority of that not been discussing games. No. So, where can you find us? Well, you can find us you can check our website, randnerds.co.uk. You can also find us here on YouTube. You can find us on twitch.tv/randnerds. Our next podcast will be on the 28th of January, 2023. You can also check out our games night, which will be this Tuesday or the 17th of January. You can see my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/SuffolkRam.
And I'm twitch.tv/Skazzius, SK4ZZI0US.
And we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you all later.
Take it easy, guys.